It's a fresh week here on Philadelphia 76ers Now. Welcome into the show. Thank you so much for joining us. And coming up, the 76ers got a great update on Paul George, and is Joel Embiid almost ready for a return? We know about the situation that transpired over the weekend in the Sixers locker room between him and Marcus Hayes. A black guy for Embiid a little bit, even though I thought Marcus Hayes mentioning his deceased brother went a little bit too far, and a dark guy for the Sixers organization. But as far as injuries go, positive developments on the Joel Embiid front. Before we talk about all of that, our goal for the month of November, 21,000 subscribers. As you can see, we're a little more than 300 people away from that number. So if you're looking for consistent and great elite Sixers coverage right here on YouTube, lock us in today and hit that sub button. Shams Charania, the ESPN NBA insider now, after he stepped in for Adrian Wojnarowski, who left the broadcasting and journalism space to become the general manager for the St. Bonaventure basketball program, with this tweet on Sunday during the midst of the NFL action in Week 9 that Philadelphia 76ers star Paul George expected to make his season debut on Monday tonight against the Phoenix Suns. Of course, that barring any setbacks. With how the Sixers have started this year, with all of the drama around Joel Embiid's injury, and then him shoving Marcus Hayes in the Sixers locker room, how poorly the Sixers have played, they need some good vibes. They need to play better basketball. And as far as a basketball fit and an injection of solid play, they needed this badly. Because this Sixers season has gotten off to an embarrassingly bad start with all of the expectations that they had as an organization. And they don't necessarily handle all these optics all that well. Now, they begin the season with the 124-109 loss to the Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks since then have been horrible, right? But when you lose to Damian Lillard and Giannis, when you only have Tyrese Maxey and he was ice cold, that's okay. But then you lose against the Toronto Raptors on the road. You beat the Indiana Pacers, a team that was a Final Four squad last year, in overtime after Maxey went off, 118-114. That's good. But then back-to-back ugly losses. At home against Detroit, one of the worst teams in basketball, and against Memphis, a team that you should be able to beat. And so for Paul George to come back, he's going to help this offense, 3-level scoring. He's going to help this defense, lockdown wing defender. And he's coming off a career-best year in which he was very efficient. One of the more efficient seasons of his career. 47% from the field, 41+% from three-point range. And without Joel Embiid, he's going to have ample opportunities to be that star alongside Tyrese Maxey without having to be a part of the three-headed monster. And where I think Paul George will really help the Philadelphia 76ers as he's set to make his return on Monday, he will take some pressure off of Tyrese Maxey, who's feeling that. He's checking up 30 to 40 shots per night. His efficiency is off to a career low, and that's because all of the attention has been on Tyrese Maxey because nobody else can create. And everybody else on this team struggles to score the basketball consistently. Paul George is also a knockdown, catch-and-shoot threat from anywhere on the floor. He's a very strong perimeter defender, and the Sixers team has gone on bad defensive lapses, and he's going to open up things for others. That includes Caleb Martin. That includes Tyrese Maxey and everybody else on this team, because if you double him, Maxey will be open. If you double Maxey, Paul George will be open. Kelly Oubre off to a slow start. He'll get some more opportunities. That's how Paul George can help this Sixers team. So, Chip, we did a 9-hour live stream on day one of free agency, awaiting the signing of Paul George. It happened, and now we've waited for him to make his debut, and tonight it's set to happen.
Yeah, and it couldn't come at a better time. As you mentioned, this team has been really, really struggling on both ends of the floor. They're losing to awful teams. 1-4 to start the season. And with a tough road trip coming up against the Suns, the Clippers, the Lakers, you don't want to quickly fall to 1-7 on the season, right?
Yeah.
So it's great that, of course, barring setbacks, he will play tonight. We'll see how much he plays. He has been, ramping up his conditioning and practice over the past few days, playing in 5-on-5, so I don't think he should have too many limitations. Of course, going to be tough first game back playing against the likes of Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, where, look, the Sixers can't really ease Paul George in. They need him on the offensive end of the floor to score the ball because this team is really struggling to do that. But also defensively, like, he's probably going to have to guard Kevin Durant for the majority of the game. So it's going to be a little bit of a rude introduction for him with this team, but I'm just excited to see now the pieces are finally coming together. What are the reasons you brought Paul George in? Of course, he's a great player, and you want this great big three, all the talent you can get. But was because the Sixers knew that they were going to be without Joel Embiid for portions of the season, and so now you have Maxey and Paul George together on the floor to be able to win those games without Embiid. So this is your first test. The Suns are really good this season, 5-1 on the year. It's been, a much better year for them with Coach Mike Budenholzer over there. They're actually one of the best defensive teams in the league. Of course, they have a strong offense with those 3 stars, so going to be a tough test. But look, Sixers got to start winning games, and I think with Paul George now in the mix, hopefully, until Embiid comes back at some point soon, you can start to stack up some wins here early in the season.
No doubt. Well said by Chip right there. He knows ball, you know ball, and show us that you're excited about some Sixers basketball, because if you're pumped up for Paul George to make a 76ers debut, hit that thumbs up icon, like the video right now. Coming up next, positive update on Joel Embiid as far as his injury status goes. Things are starting to come together for Philadelphia here despite all of this drama. First, today's 76ers Now, sponsored by our friends at DraftKings, the most elite sports book in the game. Right now, if you use the code SixersChat and you bet $5, you get $200 instantly in bonus bets. The NBA is finally back. A new season means new ways to get into the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Who's draining threes from beyond the arc? Who's crashing the boards and grabbing rebounds? Get behind your favorite players and the prop bets that you can make on DraftKings, the home of NBA player props. First time, new DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Every point counts with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code SixersChat. That's code SixersChat for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5, only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in New Hampshire, Oregon, Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/bball. Chips picks plus 1,000 here. Paul George, 20-plus points. He just said, by the way, 95% chance that he plays on Monday against Phoenix. Of course, it's looking like he is going to. Tyrese Maxey, 7-plus dimes. Some of them going to PG8. Philadelphia, +7 against Phoenix. And then Kevin Durant, 25-plus points. Going to be difficult for the Sixers to guard him. Chips picks. Pick DraftKings. Promo code SixersChat. Bet $5. Get $200 instantly in bonus bets. As for Joel Embiid, is it coming back soon? Keith Pompey, who started the, what do you call it? I don't know. Weird moments on Saturday night when he said, the Sixers season is going to be remembered for all of the wrong reasons. Off to a bad start. And Joel Embiid just punched a reporter. It turned out to be a shove. He had an update on the Embiid injury front. The hope is that Embiid will return shortly, even on this road trip. Embiid already ruled out against the Phoenix Suns. What I also don't get about what Marcus Hayes said, and he's always been a columnist in Philadelphia who will stir the pot and draw up some controversy. He said Joel Embiid arrived at Sixers training camp in bad shape. But when we saw Embiid during that press conference, he had slimmed down after losing 25 to 30 pounds. So what is it? As for the Sixers road trip against the Suns on Monday, the 4th of November, then they have a night off. They play the Clippers on the road on the 6th, and then the Los Angeles Lakers on the 8th on Friday. Philadelphia desperately needs Embiid's interior presence. Andre Drummond is one of the top backup centers in the NBA, but he's a backup center. And so without Embiid, you have seen the Sixers miss him offensively, 3-level scoring, trench points, trench presence. But then down low on the defensive end, I mean, so many open lanes for people to just easy cruise to the bucket to get a deuce. Saturday against Memphis, the Grizzlies, 70 points in the paint. It's hard to believe. The Sixers, only 34. Memphis out-rebounded Philadelphia 52-33. The 76ers, 25th in the NBA among 30 teams in opponents' points per game in the paint, last in defensive rebounding per game. So Paul George is going to help that a lot. Joel Embiid even more so. And Brett Siegel with this. Once again, Joel Embiid being investigated by the NBA for his post-game altercation with the reporter. The belief among many around the league right now is that he will face disciplinary action in the form of a possible suspension. So, could he appeal that? What do you appeal? I mean, he clearly shoved Marcus Hayes, according to all accounts in there. The media workers for Philadelphia saying to the reporters, we hope that you don't report this. You don't need to report this. Then Joel Embiid said, I don't give a shit. You can do whatever the hell that you want to do. That didn't make matters better. So Embiid nearing a return, but it looks as though he's probably going to get hit, Chip, with the suspension, which could then further delay his return.
Of course. It's like finally we get a positive update on his health. Could return as soon as this week. He is traveling with the team on this road trip, so all signs indicate like he could be ready. Shams said at the end of last week that Embiid had strung together multiple days in a row of full 5-on-5 scrimmages, full practices. Seems very, very close to being able to play. It'd be so typical and so like the Philadelphia 76ers that Embiid is finally back, he's healthy to go, and then he gets slapped with a 5-game suspension. I just want to see this team finally get fully healthy and see everybody on the court together. And look, we talked about Paul George returning. That's going to help a lot. It's not going to solve all of their issues, though, for the reasons we mentioned, with the Sixers struggling so much to rebound the ball defensively and to stop teams in the paint. I mean, Jaren Jackson Jr. was doing whatever he wanted against the Sixers in Memphis, or in Philly, on Saturday. Zach Edey had a good game. Like, they just need Embiid's big presence, because I don't think it's all on Drummond. It's also because you have Gershon Yabusele playing the backup small ball 5, which he's done a decent job at, but at the end of the day, I think he's better as a 4. So, look, hopefully you're getting Paul George back. Hopefully you get Embiid back sooner rather than later. We'll see what happens with this possible suspension. But then, there's been parts of the team that I thought have been looking good. You just need those 2 stars back, right? I like what Yabusele has brought. I like what Caleb Martin has brought. They just got to hit some shots. Jared McCain has been good as of late. So even Eric Gordon's been hitting some shots. Kelly Oubre made a few threes against Memphis. So they're finally starting to get it together. The Sixers have been one of the worst three-point shooting teams, actually the worst in the league. They shot 41% from 3, I believe made 19 of about 42 threes against Memphis. So that finally started to come along. Some positive signs, some positive momentum finally for this squad. Hopefully we get everybody on the court. We can look past this slow start, and then get start to rise up in the standings, because right now, sitting at 1-4, they're, I think, the 14th seed out east. Of course, it's early on, but some good news now. Hopefully they can get this season turned around.
Yeah, no doubt. And look, it's an 82-game schedule. It's a long season. We've always said, we don't care about 50-plus win seasons. What are they going to do in the playoffs? If they can get healthy soon, and then they start to peak mid to latter portion of the year where they're healthy and playing their best basketball at the end of the year going into the playoffs, that's all that matters. Who cares about this slow start? But they do have to get it together, and they have to get it together soon. Can the 76ers turn it around with Embiid and Paul George back? Why for yes and for no? If not, indictment on head coach Nick Nurse. Before we hop on out of here, give us a follow on Instagram, the channel page at 76ers Now IG. Plenty of content over there.